All right, y'all, let me tell you something. Today's guest is for every woman who has ever been the strong one. Raise his hand. The helper, the builder, the one that everybody calls when something falls apart and then quietly wonders, who holds me? Tara Jaye Frank is a leadership strategist, an equity advocate, and a soulful truth teller who believes deeply in the promise of people. She's the founder and CEO of the Waymakers Change Group, where she advises Fortune 500 companies and senior leaders on human-centered leadership and workplace equity. But y'all, here's what I love the most about her story. She didn't just rise through corporate leadership. She started as a Hallmark greeting card writer, where she learned how to lead with care, curiosity, and creativity. She's held executive roles across multicultural strategy, business innovation, and creative leadership. But y'all, here's the part that I know is going to have you being like, who is this woman? Because this is how I feel, right? She spent 10 years as the creative partner to the Dr. Maya Angelou. Yes, that one. Yes. She's also the award-winning author of The Waymakers, a 2025 LinkedIn top voice, a proud Spelman alum. I know my Spelman girls right now are like, right? And she's a Delta. Go ahead, y'all. Get hype. I know it. She's also a wife and a mother of 6 and a grandmother. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I know y'all are going to be like, grandmother where? Put it in the comments. I know. She looks good. And now she has a new book out. And in her newest book, You Are Before the World, Lessons on Doing Good Without Being Undone, she turns inward. This isn't a book about quitting. It's about becoming. It's about what happens when you are called to serve, but you refuse to lose yourself in the process. We need this now. Tara, I am so honored and so excited to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I am thrilled. I have been excited about this for weeks.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just honored to be sitting with you and having this conversation about something I could talk about for hours, but won't.
No. I mean, like, honestly, I could keep you for hours because when I tell you selfishly, there are a handful of people that I know have a grounding presence for me online. Like, not that you can't be spicy, okay?
Right.
Like, you have your moments too, just like
Yes.
all of us. But when I tell you your presence always, it realigns me. If you guys follow, Tara, she's easy to find around the internet. Tara Jaye Frank, you can find her on the internet. The thing that I like about you is it always seems like you're bringing things back to center. And so the idea that you wrote a book about this in a time where I think most of us feel like sheer chaos is happening outside and we're absorbing it as well.
Yes.
So can you, tell me, how did you even get like this? Like, were you just sitting at the feet of Dr. Angelou and being like, just infuse me with the peace? Because how are you like this?
Well, the secret is I don't really feel peaceful most of the time. And so I have anxiety. I have generalized anxiety. I talk about that in the book, which means being in a state of peace is a practice for me. It has to be a practice. I don't wake up in the morning feeling like all is well, everything's good, no problems, right? When you have anxiety, which I describe in the book as just having a suite of butterflies ever alive in your chest, you have to figure out, what does it take for me to ground myself? What does centering look like? Again, in practice, day to day to day. And so I think because I've been practicing grounding and centering for so much of my life, I'm pretty good at it most of the time.
Right.
Like everybody else, when, when there's an incoming and I'm swept off my feet like everyone else, and so many of us have had that experience over the last several months, I have a moment, but it doesn't take me that long to reroute.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I would never think you have moments.
Yeah.
Like, which sounds like madness, right? A mother of 6, grandbabies, like, a full business, a community leader. Like, obviously you have a lot going on, but usually, people who have a lot going on have figured out a way to juggle it all. And you just always seem so composed in your thought, in your correspondence, just everything. To hear that you walk around with generalizing, it's kind of like humbling, to realize that you can be all the things and still have stuff.
That's part of it, though, to be honest. And I talk about that as well. I don't try to do all the things anymore. I don't try to be all the things
When was the
anymore.
turning point for you where you were like, I can't be everything?
If I'm being completely transparent, it was post-election.
So just recently?
It was recently. And the book was written mostly after that point. I had stories already, obviously. I'd lived my life, I'd had all my experiences. I'd learned from them. So all of that was in play. But writing the book and the way the book flowed out, a lot of it was written after the election. And the reason
take us back there. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason there was that flip there, what changed for you, is before that, I was still somewhat abiding by a couple of key principles. One is, when you are raised as a Black woman in America, you're taught you have to be twice as good to get half as far.
That's right.
You're also taught, we're here to serve, we're here to give, we're
to
here
show
to
up,
help,
to lead.
right?
Yeah.
To lead. We are conditioned to be easy in whatever given environment. We are conditioned to
be fixers,
to save,
yes,
to fix, right? To pick up the broken things and make them somehow whole again. And we do that in boardrooms, and we do that in conference rooms, and we do that in homes, and we do that in communities. Every single place we show up, we do exactly that. And so I had that conditioning, just like so many other Black women had that conditioning. And the day after the election, I just felt undone. I felt untethered. I felt, the way I've described it before, vacated. And I began to reflect on, what is all of this for? Because if you can be 5 times as good, 5 times as knowledgeable, as prepared, as polished, as experienced, and still not get the outcome you hope for, what are we doing?
Yeah, what is it going to take? What does it really take? Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we giving up to get there? And is there even a place we actually want to be?
Now, those are 2 heavy loaded questions, right? Because when I tell you, if there isn't something that I believe a lot of women, not even just Black women, but women who are watching what's happening in this world and saying to themselves, where are we going to fit in here if we're not safe, right?
That's right.
But Black women have been asking ourselves this question from existence.
Yep.
I think that, there may be some intersectionality happening as white women are now joining some of that question, saying, that sort of thing. Those 2 questions of, one, where are we going? What is the point of all of this? And the second one is, no, but seriously, do we even want to go to the place we're going?
Yeah.
Those are so loaded. I'm not going to lie. I get the anxiety. I feel the butterflies.
Right.
Because if the answer is, I don't want to go to the thing, then is there even a point in stressing myself out? Because we look at VP Harris.
Yes.
We look at someone who, on paper, and I say this all the time, on paper, no matter what your political standing is, she meets the criteria. If you removed her away, her physical being away from it, and put another person on that resume, she exceeds the criteria.
Exceeds the criteria.
Yes, for anyone who has ever run for president in the history of president. And so a campaign, obviously, it's kind of like a concert performance, right? You may or may not like the show that you got on that different night, but it doesn't change the fact that qualifications wise, she was 5 times as good, and did everything she needed to do.
I think indisputably. Right.
On paper, whether or not you like her.
Yes.
On paper. So if we know that's the case and that wasn't enough, where does that put the rest of us?
Right. And that's exactly what I was thinking about, that very next morning. It felt like a national repudiation of not only VP Harris, but of Black women. That is how I felt.
Particularly the hard, and I say this because I don't like to draw distinctions between Black women. We all share it's why we can look at each other, make a face, and we understand what each other, we are all the same.
Yes.
But there's also something to be said for the Black women who are told, play the game.
Yes.
Play the game, follow the rules.
Showing up.
Keep showing up.
Keep
work
working
hard. Do all the things.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, understand that Black women who may not have been able to ascend in those situations for the right reasons, right?
Yes.
Like Black women who literally are like, look, I have been too oppressed. I didn't have resources. How do they feel realizing, look, you can even, and I say this as a, brown woman, you can even be light-skinned, mixed parents, like all the lies we've ever been told are required. Light-skinned, mixed parents, well-educated, grown up in California, all these things, and have money, married to a white Jewish man, and not get the thing.
The thing.
And these are tools or lists that were given to us by white people.
Right.
Saying if you do these things, you have behaved.
Here are the 15 boxes.
That's right.
If you check them, your chances, right, of having this experience, this elevated experience.
And you'll get the thing.
Right. Be good and you'll get the thing.
But then it was like collectively, I think we all were like, okay, so it is a lie. Even if we kind of knew. Yeah. It is a lie.
Yes. It is a lie.
Once we knew that.
So here's the beautiful part about it though. I spent a little bit of time, and if you read the book, you kind of know how this evolved, but I spent a little bit of time feeling like, WTF, why, what am I even doing? I don't want it.
It was a mourning process. Right. It was like grief, acceptance, denial, anger, disappointment, all the things.
I don't want it. I'm picking up my toys. I'm going home. So many of us felt that way,
yes,
right? The meme by Navi Robbins was going around, it was the AI version, but still going around, Black women on the roof, sipping the tea, world burning.
Washing.
Like all of us felt this way, at least for a time. But I knew that we wouldn't stay there.
No, I think that's also part of where we are now, right? Which is why your book is such a tool because, we get back into the fray.
Right.
So,
but how we get back into the fray
has to change.
Really matters.
Yes. It has
to change.
Yes. So, okay. So let's keep going on the journey. So you're seeing all of this and so people may or may not know this, but my birthday was election day. So it was November 6th, 2024, which is an important day for you. In your book, you reference it. You reference it in a lot of your conversations.
I do.
I remember sitting at my favorite French restaurant with my husband. I was also pregnant. I was 9 months pregnant, so the hormones were already going. So 9 months pregnant with a Black girl.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting across from my husband on an election day after she lost. And I can feel the feelings again. It's the grief and mourning of like when you, I say lose a pet is probably the closest thing, but it felt like that, just like this, like a deep, deep loss. And saying like, I want to eat, I want to be excited. I feel like I can't celebrate anything right now because I'm scared because I know it's coming.
Yeah.
And no one believes me.
That's right.
So where were you on that day? Who was with you and what were you feeling?
Thank you for asking this.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about this a lot. So the morning I woke up, I already knew, my body knew before I picked up my phone. But I picked up my phone and I looked and I felt like the line between my brain and my body had been cut. That is how I felt. So I finally kind of swung my legs off to the side of my bed and I got up and I felt like I was walking through molasses. It was a very visceral grief that I was carrying. And I was supposed to get on a plane that day to go to this author's weekend that we'd scheduled months before, by the way. We thought we would be celebrating. It was going to be a celebration, girl. Yes, didn't we? I was like, this will be the best birthday ever. We thought we would be celebrating.
Oh, girl. Whew.
But, the flight was later that day. And so I went into the living room and I was honestly I felt like I was in a tunnel. People joke about that. Like, you're in a tunnel. I felt like I was in a tunnel. It was a dark tunnel. I could not see the light at the end of it. And I was just really down.
Were you alone?
No, my son, who's now 23, he came downstairs because it was just he and I in the house. My husband was traveling. And I was grateful that my husband was traveling because I don't know about your husband, but my husband is very rational.
Yeah, my husband will unpack it all. And I'm like, this is bigger than that. I don't want to hear the unpack.
Right. He's a very logical person. He's very balanced, in his
You said he's a Morehouse man. That's how they train him.
Yes, he's very balanced. He's very rational. And I knew that he would think I was being dramatic. Not because he isn't supportive, but like it was dramatic. It just was.
It was heavy. It was just a big moment for us. Yeah.
So my son comes downstairs and he sits kind of across from me and he asked me a rhetorical question because he knew the answer, which is, how are you doing, Mom? And I said, I'm not good. And I told him, I was trying to gather myself and I said, my optimism, it's gone. And it came out in a flood of sobs. Like I already had a pile of tissues.
Yeah, I cried. I cried over my dinner. Yep.
But I said, my optimism, it's gone. And he sat there and he just listened. And I said, and I don't even know where to find it.
Yep.
Like I can't, I was feeling around in my body trying to locate it. And I couldn't. And that was a scary feeling for me as a creative person because everything I do in the world, as a CEO, as a founder, as a consultant, as a coach, as a writer, as a mom, as a human, is rooted in optimism. It is.
And you're a believer, right?
Yes,
like
I am a believer.
Yeah.
It is how I get from A to B in life. No matter where I'm going, it is how I get from A to B. I couldn't access it, which is why I felt so stuck. So that was that morning, right? And we had a beautiful conversation, and I certainly talk about that in the book as well. But my son was like, maybe now we'll be able to focus on what matters. Like, he was so peaceful in that conversation. I knew he didn't believe in the government structure.
Sure.
We had so many conversations about it. I was trying to get him to vote for president. He was like, Mom, I think it's all the same.
I have a 23-year-old who did the same thing.
Right.
Yep. Who was just kind of like, no, very quickly this generation seems to have moved, and I'm not knocking them at all because it's just a different approach. But they've moved very quickly to it has to burn all down.
Absolutely.
That's just where we are. They're like, I cannot participate because I'm conserving my energy because it's got to all burn down.
That's right. And I want to have energy for the
rebuilding. 100%. 100%. They're like, so whatever it is, let it be what it is. And it's a very different look.
Very different.
Especially because we are the optimist, Yes. But I also, and I'm scared for them, and I'm not excited for whatever remains. Where I feel like our job right now so much is to minimize what they have to rebuild and preserve the guidance of the structures they need to maintain.
That's it.
But
in that moment, Nicole, I was like,
girl,
I was thinking to myself, literally, maybe he was right this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was fighting to hold on to some
vestiges
structural
of
reality
something else
that I had grown up believing in. And maybe this whole time he knew that there was going to have to be a deconstruction before there could be a reconstruction. And that was like a deep moment for me. And then I got on the plane and I'm on the plane thinking, nobody talk to me. Nobody look at me.
When I say
I don't want to hear anything.
I did not want anyone.
No.
It was not the day or the time. But what I can also tell you is when I saw another Black woman, we had the same look in our eyes. And that was before the data even came out, about 92%. Right. But we all knew. We were all like, girl. We knew. Like looking at each other, we all felt the same thing. And we also all felt, I'm not one to, I'm not a tinfoil hatter. I'm not a conspiracy. You know exactly what I'm saying. But we were all just kind of like, girl.
And I'm not either. Yeah.
It was just that,
It seemed wrong.
It seemed off. So
that was the word. It was
off. It was just off.
We knew it was off.
But we were like, okay, well, but it is what it is, because not the first time we felt off before. And we know that off doesn't even, we're not going to play with getting things proven. It's off. Whatever. Let's keep it moving.
Right.
What do we do next?
Here we are. Yeah. And now
so you touch down, you're on this flight, and you have to go back to real life, which also feels like an insult.
Right. It does. It all felt like an insult. And I didn't want to go to the grocery store. I didn't want to go anywhere. So I ordered groceries. In the name that popped up in the app, the delivery driver, it said Socrates. And I chuckled to myself. And then this man showed up, brown-skinned man, head full of curly hair. I said, I was the only one there at the place. It was our family beach home. And he had all these groceries. And I said, Socrates, huh? And he said, yep, name my parents gave me. And I knew, he probably gets this all the time.
All the time.
And I said, well, I could use a little philosophy right about now. And he said, about what exactly? And then I was like, sir, what? Come on, is what I was thinking. I said, about the world. And he said, you are before the world. And he set the groceries down and he walked away. And I stood there for a good 3 minutes, maybe. I mean, it felt like an eternity, but it's probably just a couple minutes, thinking about everything that meant to me. You are before the world, as in you have to take care of yourself before you can heal the land. You are before the world, as in sometimes you have to go before. You have to clear the path. You are before the world, as in individuals, human beings are more important than systems. And as all of this really started to bubble up for me, I realized, I think I see a way out. I think I see a way out. And that's when the book started flowing from me like lava.
I tell you, and right on time. Before we got started, I mentioned that you were made for a time such as this. And it's because I think that you're one of the few people that is speaking to the after. Yeah. And so many of us are in the now or longing for the before, and part of it is what we described. Do we even want what the after is, or these kids are out here like, light it up, So, optimistically, I kind of want to get to the after, we are in the thick of it now. And I believe that there are many people who may have been on the fence about it, or people who may have been in the place of, I don't want to choose the lesser evil, but at least, the thing I always used to say was, look, it's more about, do you want to preserve your rights to fight another day? even
That's
if you aren't sure where to stand, you know?
Yeah.
I think there are more people now who are collectively saying to themselves, I've seen some things that concern me. You know, I know that things need to change, or I don't like the how behind the what.
That's it.
And in the living of this, you know, selfishly, I'm just going to say it. It is hard to go about the daily. I've got 4 kids, you know, a newborn, or not a newborn, she's 1, you know, and I run a business, you know, and I have inadvertently become a very vocal advocate and activist,
right?
Because that is, I think, our nature. You know, I just cannot be quiet about it.
Which also draws things to you.
Draws
that
things
you didn't
to me
necessarily
that
invite.
I didn't
on
ask
purpose.
for it. I didn't ask for it. But also, I'm not repudiating it either, because if I am being called to a certain position,
that's right.
Then so be it. You know, because if it is going to burn down, I just want to stand where I need to stand.
That's right.
Tara, how do we? You already know. What you all are witnessing. How do we put
ourselves before the world?
Listen, okay. If you are watching on YouTube or listening to this, what you just experienced was a moment of Black intuition. She knew what I was about to say.
Yes.
Okay, so how do I even create the space, and even mentally, where do I draw the line and say this is too much?
Yes,
and I need to be for me.
I'm going to share a few things in rapid succession because here's what I know. I know you and I could talk about this topic
forever.
We sadly don't have forever,
but
I know we could talk about it.
And y'all have the book, so that really helps. The book helps a lot with context.
Yeah, right. Because it's storytelling as well, right?
It's an
not
easy
just
read.
Here are 5 things to go to. So the first thing I would say is, and everybody talks about this, but it's a really important one, is to get in tune with our bodies, because usually our bodies will tell us when we are out of sorts, when we are out of alignment, when we are doing too much, when we are doing the wrong thing, when we are showing up for a person, place, or thing that is not meant for us. Our bodies will tell on us. We will feel the heat. We will get the headache. We will feel exhaustion before we even do the work. So that's one thing. It's really important. The second is to be a helper without identifying with the help. So somebody asked me, you know, what about all of us? So many of us feel like fixers. And I say, well, the thing about being a fixer, it's one thing to fix. It's another thing to be a fixer. If you identify as a fixer, that means something always has to be broken in order for you to exist.
So you're saying, look, I may know how to clean up trash, but I am not a dumpster.
But I am not, right.
I'm not the trash can.
Trash cleaner. I am not a dumpster.
I get it.
Because if you are a fixer, something has to stay broken for your identity to be whole.
Ooh.
So how are you identifying? Yes, you can fix. Yes, you can heal. Yes, you can serve. Yes, you can save if you want to. But to call yourself a fixer, a saver, right, has a different kind of high bar. And you can get lost and not know who you are or where you are without the broken things, without the people who need to be saved. That's a really important one.
Just tag me. If you're going to sit here and just say it, just tag me. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's so, I mean, this is good. Language is the power of the tongue. And also if you say, I am a rescuer, even I am a
then
fixer.
You're always looking for someone to rescue.
Looking for someone to rescue. And people are also hearing that. They're like, oh, this is a safe place to bring my mess.
Girl,
don't let them bring you the mess.
This is the part.
You're right.
So the third thing is don't get ready for things that aren't ready for you.
Ooh, tell me more about that, because I'm of the stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Well, then this is what we've been taught. Remember I said earlier we were taught be twice as good?
Yeah.
The stay ready so you don't have to get ready is another one. What does stay ready actually look like in practice?
Stay in a state of anxiety constantly. You're right. You're right.
It looks like going ahead. It looks like getting prepared for things you're not even sure what they are yet. It looks like being 3 days early. That's what staying ready so you don't have to get ready looks like. But here's the thing. Often we stay ready so we don't have to get ready. But then when the actual thing emerges, it's different than the thing we got ready for.
Always is. I mean, there's no way.
So now you've wasted stay ready energy and you have to get ready again.
Ooh.
So I stopped staying ready for things, right? Now I just get ready for what's ready for me. And the amount of time that has opened up in my life and in my schedule would blow your socks off.
Okay, I need you to pause because my producer just gave it based on what you just said. Listen, I'm telling you, everybody in the room right now just had a whole moment, okay? Because the idea, it's such a shift.
Very simple.
And it's interesting. So my mentor, Seth Godin, always tells me that, true thought leaders, which you very much are people who say something that you already know in a way like you've never heard before.
Right.
What you have described to me is something that's been told to us all the time. Stay in the present.
Yes.
Just mind your presence, worry about the things you have agency over today.
Yes.
Don't, be not anxious. These are not words that are new. They go way back.
Yes.
But when you're saying, look, just be prepared for what is in front of you.
For what is in front of you. Get ready for what is in front of you.
Where
Otherwise,
do you think this
waste
came
creativity, you waste time. I think it was a download. It was a God thing. Like, girl, stop being 3, 5, 7 days ahead of things because you keep getting ready for the wrong thing.
Oh.
The other piece of that is you can get ready for the small thing when the big thing was on its way.
Wow. So not me preparing for the wrong thing. Still
I'm
not
also
even being ready.
underprepared.
Underprepared.
So that's that. And I know, girl, ooh, Jesus. I know. We have to wrap. The fourth and fifth things really quickly. The fourth thing is learn to mind your business, meaning,
take that from Black women everywhere.
Yeah.
Mind your business.
We try to help people beyond usefulness. So help people too long, too far, and with too much.
That's so good. So it's matching their energy too. It's like, I can't want it more. I say, I can't want it more than you do.
So there's that whole thing.
That's good.
And the last is remember that you don't belong to anyone. You belong to yourself. And the reason I say that is even as you show up in the moment, trying to save the world still because you care about it, people are going to come in your comments saying all kind of trash things. You don't belong to them. They don't own you. They don't own your energy, your perspective, your presence, your brilliance, your beauty. So they're going to sometimes be dissatisfied with how you show up. They're going to feel like it's insufficient. And that's okay. They can feel that because you don't belong to them. Right? So yeah, that and more in the book.
When I say, I don't know if I've ever had anyone be so impactful in just a few minutes. And I say this respectfully, y'all. Yes, we could sit here and talk for an hour and a half, but I wanted you to have in that 20, 30-minute quick bite incentive to pick up this book. And the reason why is so many of us would draw comfort because we've been trained to look to the future. And we're trying to sort out what is tomorrow. What is tomorrow? What do we do next? Where do we go? Where's the hope in all of this? And I want to let you know, I hope you read this book.
Thank you.
Because even if we can't know what's to come, and we shouldn't worry too much about what's to come, we can actually have steps to make sure we're strong enough today to meet tomorrow.
Principles.
That's right.
Principles, yeah.
You
Thank
are
you.
Unbelievable.
Thank you so much for this time.
Unbelievable. And I am so grateful that you are so willing to share everything you've learned, everything you've garnered and with us, because it's more than enough. It's so deeply needed. Thank you, Tara, for being here.
For who you are and what you do. I appreciate you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.